This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Hi, I'm Andrew from Parlogram, and in this video we're starting something a little different. Over the next few months, I'm going to be taking a small group of students on a journey through the Beatles' music, beginning right at the start with Please Please Me. The students are aged between 16 and 19 and all study at the Linz International School Auhof here in Austria. Some are Austrian, but some come from very different backgrounds: Argentina, Brazil, South Africa, Croatia, Bulgaria, and the UK. And like most people their age, they experience music very differently from how many of us did. For some of them, this was the first time they'd ever sat down and listened to a full album from start to finish. No playlists, no skipping, just 32 unbroken minutes with one record. We listened together in a music room at their school, and while the album played, I asked them to make notes. First impressions, favourite moments, how it sounded, and whether anything surprised them. For this session, we listened to the 2009 remastered stereo CD, but I also gave them a brand new vinyl copy of the album to take away and explore in their own time. Now, this isn't about testing them, and it's not about trying to prove anything. It's simply about hearing how the Beatles' music lands with a new generation, in their own words, without prompts or preconceptions.
My name is Felipe. I'm from Brazil and I'm 19 years old.
My name is Valentina and I'm from Austria and I'm 18 years old.
Hi, I'm Anna. I'm 17 and I'm British-Hungarian.
Hi, I'm Nina. I'm 18 and I'm from South Africa.
I'm Sebastian. I'm 18 years old. I'm from Linz, Austria, and
yeah, I'm Nikos. I'm 17 years old and I'm also from Linz, Austria.
My name is Luca. I'm 17 and I'm from Argentina.
I'm Zora. I'm 16 and I'm from Austria.
My name is Isabella. I'm 16 years old and I'm from Austria.
Okay, my name is Goran D'Agosto. I'm 19 years old and I'm half Croatian and half Italian.
My name is Emil Doshev. I am 18 years of age and I come from Bulgaria.
Well, my dad is a great Beatles fan. He used to talk about it to me a lot. And there's something I got from him that is really valuable to me. That is a Beatles guitar pick. But besides that, I have not listened so much to the Beatles. Maybe like a few songs, especially in like bar or in the car, but not from my personal seeking.
Honestly, not so much. I do sometimes listen to the music, but I don't know any of the lore whatsoever. I have never really cared, but and I never covered it in class either. But yeah, I know they're very famous and changed the way music works nowadays.
My parents were big fans of the Beatles, so I've listened to like individual songs of theirs before, like the famous ones. And my best friend growing up, when we were around 12 or 13 years old, she was a massive Beatles fan. So I sort of took in a lot like about the Beatles and listened to a lot of songs because of her, like through osmosis almost. So I guess I sort of know a little bit about like the band members, but mostly I just know like individual songs because they were really well known.
So my mom was a big fan of the Beatles, so I did end up listening to a lot of the songs, some of which are still personal favourites of mine. Also my grandparents have a lot of Beatles-related fridge magnets, and I've just been hearing a lot of their songs in my childhood.
Well, I know fairly little about the Beatles. I know about maybe one song by name, that's Yellow Submarine. And then the rest, I probably heard some of them before, but I couldn't name you any. And apart from that, like the band history, I know close to nothing.
I'm in a like very similar situation. I mean, everybody knows the name, the Beatles, because it's famous and people talk about it. And sometimes when you listen to the radio in the car, for example, you hear a song or two, but like it doesn't really stick in the mind if it's from the radio. So I also know very little in general about them. I mean, everybody knows the famous songs like Hey Jude or Yellow Submarine, but in more detail, I basically know nothing.
Well, my parents listen to the Beatles. Probably my dad listens more to the Beatles than my mom does, but that's basically what I know about them. I didn't personally listen to them, but yeah, I'm open to it.
For me personally, I know a few of the most popular songs because we talk about them in music sometimes. I don't have any personal connections to the Beatles. I don't think my family listens to it that much. Yeah.
I know they're popular. I listened to one of their songs on my playlist, Strawberry Fields Forever.
Oh, I like that song.
Me too. Obviously.
I know that they're a group that released the first album in the 60s, and then they later had some problems within the group, and then they split up, and that's about it. I know a few songs like The Yellow Submarine and Jude, but that's it.
They were a boy band from England, and I don't really know much about them except for that they were 4 members. And I know some famous songs such as The Yellow Submarine.
I have not. Just mostly the popular songs, the most popular ones.
I think I did once when I cut my hair and I looked like one of the Beatles, and then I think on Spotify just put one album on and listened to it through to feel the whole vibe, but not after that. So I don't know if I remember any of the songs either.
No, I don't think I've listened to any album start to finish before. Just individual songs of the Beatles I've heard.
Yeah, it's the same for me. I might have listened to an album, but if I did, it was not in order and not in one setting at all. So this would be the first time.
I have not listened to a full Beatles album. As I said, some songs, but not a full album.
Same for me here. I haven't done that before.
Well, I just have, right? But
Before today?
Before today, no. I've not actually, no. Just single songs.
Yeah, it's the same for me. I didn't really listen to like the whole piece. I only listened to some parts of songs or some songs.
No, I haven't.
No, I've listened to singular songs from them, but not a full album.
Yeah, no, never. I've never listened to a full album.
The crystal ball reveals your entire future.
Really? What do you see?
Good gravy.
What's wrong?
Yay!
I see something in your future, an important message.
If you're working on something creative, whether it's a YouTube channel, a podcast, or a photography project, Squarespace gives you a straightforward way to bring everything together and present it in one place. You can start with one of their award-winning templates, or take advantage of their Blueprint AI, which by answering a few simple questions will create a stylish, professional-looking website in no time at all. No web design experience required. Squarespace also takes care of the practical side of things, such as hosting, mobile optimization, and analytics, so you can spend more time on the creative work rather than on the technical side of running a site. So, if you've been meaning to put something together or tidy up something that's already out there, why not visit squarespace.com for a free trial? And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Parlogram to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Well, my first impression is that I was actually really surprised because it did sound old, which is what I expected, but it had some freshness to it because it doesn't sound out of this planet, and I just liked the vibe. It was energetic, and it really made me think of Chuck Berry, and that's actually really nice for me because I like playing guitar, I like Chuck Berry, and it was a fun song to listen to.
First impressions, well, I really enjoyed it. I could imagine myself in the first song really dancing to it right now. And in like some maybe country club, I don't actually know what genre it was, but I could imagine myself listening to it. Maybe not in Austria, maybe more in America. But yeah, I think some of the other songs did sound a bit more out of this generation, more old. But the first one was a nice introduction, and it really, I think it's modern, and as you said, it's fresh as well.
It sounds like 60s music. I like some older songs as well, so it kind of reminds me of those. It just sounds like Beatles, I guess. Nothing really stood out that much.
For me, I was quite surprised, honestly, because I've listened to some, I guess, more of the more recent Beatles songs, like Blackbird, for example, is one of my favorite songs. So I was sort of expecting more, I guess, slow-paced, almost ballad-type songs, and the like really energetic, like rhythm type of songs that immediately showed up really surprised me, but I liked it a lot.
My first impression of the album was that it kind of fit into the stereotype that I had of the Beatles and of the music in that time. And I mean, the first song for me was one of my favorites, actually, thinking back on it. But I think my first impression was really good because the harmony and the lyrics, they were all kind of in the style that I personally like a bit. And the first impression was definitely good for me.
Well, I was a bit surprised at first. I had a bit of a different impression, similar to what I heard, but still different. Especially the first few songs. I expected something more or less energetic and more slow and emotional. I don't know. And so the first two songs were definitely surprising, positively surprising. I really liked those fast-paced songs, and so yeah, that was pretty cool actually.
Well, I mean, I'll let you start. What do you think?
It was quite as expected, especially how the music sounded, because I am already familiar with music of that period, of the time period, so it was pretty much as I expected. Also, the quality was not a surprise at all, and some musical features were pretty much as expected. Okay. So I think I wasn't really surprised by anything, were you?
Well, I mean, I didn't expect them to be that classical in the start, because I've heard some songs which sounded more modern, as I'd say. Yeah. But I mean, I did like it personally, if that's a question.
I think it was a very uplifting kind of melody, I would say, a positive, optimistic, and very energetic, and just like a light feeling that it gave you. Yeah.
No, I would agree. I would really agree to that. I felt my mood lifting up as well when I started listening.
I feel like this album was it started strong and active, and then it calmed down a little bit, and at the very end it was active again.
Yeah, I found the first song, I really enjoyed the guitar. I found it very, I assumed it was going to be more slow-paced.
Yeah.
I kind of associated the Beatles more to be like Elvis-type songs, like slower, more relaxed. But I really enjoyed the guitar in the first one. And then it kind of slowed down towards the end, as you said.
Yeah. Then we talked about the harmonica as well. Yeah. That was good. That came up in two different songs, I believe.
I think in Chains and...
another one.
Yeah, the harmonicas were very Yeah, an interesting touch. It would give you like a Western.
Yeah, it added a
type.
bit of energy into the song. Yeah.
Well, I really like Boys because it had this rock and roll energy to it, which I really like. And also, when the album was towards its end, I was expecting it to slow down, to just maybe even reach a plateau where it's sounding a little bit monotonous. But what happened is that I just got struck by that last song, and I already had in mind that Boys was my favorite song of the album until we got there. It's just really nice that in an album you get to have a climax and then experience something that is beyond that climax you had before. So those are my two favorite moments.
Yeah, I would actually agree with that. I liked how I felt like the first song was similar to the very last song, and so it really connected the whole album and made it very, very like a story that I listened to. And I don't remember what the exact songs were actually, but I do remember that I enjoyed imagining myself or imagining the scenes that they were singing about, and I felt like it did, as I said, connect to a whole story. So I liked this experience of listening. That was my favorite part.
So my favorite song from the album was Boys, because it was kind of more energetic, a bit more fast-paced, and I really like that style of music. And I also recognized Love Me Do. Yeah, that was the name, yeah. I've heard it before, however, I don't really know the song itself. I've just recognized it from other places.
Cool. I think for me, it was Baby It's You. There's this moment, I think it's in that song, where there was this, like a bass solo, which I've never heard before. It's always like guitar solos. They always get the glory. And I mean, maybe I'm biased because I do play bass, but it was really like unique and really cool. So I like that a lot. And another thing, I guess it's not one single moment, but the vocal harmonies was really cool. Like in a lot of the songs, really nice, yeah. I really liked the like double or triple harmonies.
My favorite moment definitely was the song, the very first song in the album, but also the song Boys from Ringo Starr. Generally because it's kind of the concept of the song is that I really like fast-paced songs which kind of have more energy, I mean, as you already said. And those two just really fit into that kind of description of my like genre of music, so I think those two would be my favorites.
For me, it's definitely the last song, the Twist and Shout. It was very different from the rest, in that it was way more a bit of aggressive, and the shouting and screaming was unexpected, but I really loved it because I listened to a lot of like rock and metal, like hard rock and metal, and it kind of was reminiscent of that genre a bit, and yeah, that was really cool. And apart from that, also the first few songs, Misery, for example, being also very upbeat and energetic and exciting, makes you just happy, and that I really liked, yeah.
I only wrote down like the titles of the songs. I really liked, and that's a not so popular opinion, the Anna Go With Him, the bass line. I'm really into the bass. Also, I play the bass, so yeah, I'm a bit biased with that. But I really liked how it sounded.
Probably, I mean, I really liked how the other singers, I mean, it was basically one guy singing and then you had the background voices. I liked how those just brought so much depth into the song, because, I mean, it just made it way more interesting.
I would say I really like when they just, often at the end of the song, they just sing like la 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 la, and I feel like they just kind of let their voice go, how they feel like, and I think that's pretty fun, yeah.
For me, the most interesting part was the stories they were telling, and while I was listening to it, I was drawing like what they were singing, and it all built. It all came up to a story. I like that.
Oh yeah, my favorite moment was, I think, or my favorite song was Twist and Shout, because I think I knew the song before already, and it really like sounds energetic, and the songs beforehand were a bit more calm, and I feel like it was a good ending to leave a strong impression on the audience.
Yeah, for me, I really liked how they incorporated the music. The music fit really well with the lyrics. I felt like even though they used weirder, like the harmonica, like stranger instruments, it really fit well with the lyrics. It just came together nicely. I really enjoyed this album.
It also surprised me because I thought for how old the album is, it would sound worse. But it actually sounded quite decent. I did not catch anything that sounded off to me. So I really liked the way it sounded.
Yeah, then I liked it. Sometimes, I don't know, but it gave me a bit of a tropical feel as well. Like from the way that the instruments work together, not the actual instruments. Yeah, that was interesting.
To be honest, I don't really know the difference that well. For me, it's just every music is just music. It doesn't really feel to me like there's a specific time where it would have been played, or I don't think music really falls out of style. Yeah.
I really agree. I think I did notice some techniques that are less used today, like the songs like faded out to end, which isn't really something you see a lot. But I agree with you a lot. Like, I don't think music has like a time when it should stop being listened to. You know, I think it's timeless in that sense.
Yeah, well, pretty mixed. I mean, the first a few songs quite upbeat, energetic, something that you would listen to while dancing in your room, maybe. Then in between, some, I'd say, sometimes even boring songs even. For me personally, less upbeat and more lovey-dovey sometimes, also the lyrics. And I'm not a huge fan of that. But overall, I think they do harmonize quite nicely, especially in the themes they explore. And yeah.
I mean, I think it's similar for me. I think the very beginning and the very end of the album were pretty similar in the vibe that they were giving off, kind of more energetic, more happy. And then the middle was kind of almost melancholic, kind of exploring this romance aspect. And I think as I listened to it, I kind of saw kind of this story evolving through the album as the kind of songs explored the different, like, especially with the lyrics, they explored like the different feelings that they were feeling, like, for example, saying that I love you, but then in the other song saying that you have to go to another person in order to let go. So I think that was pretty impactful for me.
I had this in my head. I mean, I've heard the songs a lot in like films and movies as background music, so they already seemed familiar, although I didn't ever connect them to the band. And it feels like you walk into a diner, kind of, you know? It's kind of the music you would expect to hear in like a small restaurant with like a lot of fun people.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. Yeah, it might smell like a bit of a basement, in like basement restaurant vibe. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah. Like,
I mean, actually, yeah, I think that makes sense.
Like a jazz band, but in their own interpretation. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, as I already said, it kind of did sound a bit older than I expected, but in a good way, actually, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they also really, they fitted well together, the pieces after each other. Sometimes I realized, oh yeah, there's a slower piece there and then there's a fast one again. But other than that, they had a really, the same quality over the whole album, I feel.
We were sort of discussing it before, that it sounded not as old as it is. This album was published in 1963. But for me, it sounded more something like out of the 90s, maybe. And Yeah.
Yeah, the first song where you can give like rock, 90s rock vibes. Yeah, I found it more modern than it actually was. I feel like it was ahead of its time.
I would definitely listen to it again. And not only this album, but other albums as well. Maybe get the feeling of how the Beatles evolved, because the album itself, it has a change to it. It has a mix of styles to it that I like, and I would like to see more.
Yeah, I would definitely listen to it again. I enjoyed how I felt while listening, and so I would like to recreate that.
Yeah, definitely. There's a couple songs that really stood out to me and I enjoyed listening to them, and they will definitely be added to my playlists.
Yeah, it's the same. I think they'll be really fun. Yeah, just songs for when I'm like want something cheerful. You know? Yeah, absolutely.
Some songs, not all of them. Like going through the record, maybe like skip a few songs in the middle. I think I would definitely listen to the Twist and Shout again. I'll probably put that on my playlist actually. And depending on the situation, maybe some of the upbeat songs. Those songs in the middle, they kind of weren't as like memorable for me. So maybe if I listen to them often enough, they will become more memorable. But for the time being, half of the songs, yes. Half of the songs, maybe no. Probably no.
I'm kind of similar. I think I'd pick about 4 or 5 songs from the whole album to also maybe put on my playlist, or to like skip 2 in the album. I think generally because there's this difference in the song in the album, these songs stand out even more to me because they kind of contrast the other songs so much, so that they seem even better, as to say. So I think I'd definitely listen to those again.
Would you?
Yeah, I think I would, with the vinyl, because we have a record player at home, and I sometimes like to play vinyls. Yeah,
yep.
Especially for background or something.
I might have to get myself a record player because I actually did like it a lot, so I might listen to it again. Yeah.
Yeah, it was better than expected. Yeah.
I definitely would. I know.
I thought about moments where I would probably like try listening to it again. I mean, it's usually not the type of music I listen to, but I think it's really nice on like a train ride when it's sunny and when you're going to like a new place, because it's uplifting and it's optimistic. So it kind of gives you excitement, I'd say. And of course, I'd probably listen to it if I was in love, I guess, maybe. If I could relate to their lyrics.
Oh. Yeah, who knows?
Sweet. Yeah, it would be interesting to listen to it with someone else.
Yeah.
There's a few songs that I would definitely listen to again. There were some songs that I liked a little less, but I can imagine myself on a family-friendly picnic or event where I would listen to these again. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't think I would listen to the whole album, every song after another chronologically as we did today, but I would definitely listen to a few songs as well again.
To me, it just feels like it's a bluesy take on love.
It's a very old but fresh take on adolescence, maybe?
It felt really like energetic and rhythmic, so I felt like they were songs that, yeah, were really like had like a playful and energetic feeling towards them. I don't really know how else I would describe it.
For me, it was more kind of chill, I guess. Sounds like something you could kind of dance to slowly, just in a chill vibe, you know?
I think the album is a timeless classic that explores themes in both direction of both romance but also fast-paced dance music, and yeah.
Well, to sum it up in one sentence, I'd say it's a pretty good representation of the different forms of love, and kind of also like going from the happiness to the sadness to the aggression or emotions displayed around this topic. I mean, it's a pretty wide topic. I think the album itself is a pretty good representation of the different forms of love and different feelings you feel when being in love or dealing with love.
It's pretty interesting because sometimes it's like sad lyrics but still uplifting and fast. So I don't know. It was sometimes confusing because they sang about like love, but it was like really fast and yeah, let's go.
I really don't have a sentence. It was really nice though. I liked it, yeah.
Yeah.
In a few sentences, I would describe this album as relatively unexpected, because I feel like you could never really guess what the next beat would be to a song. It was like, it would always change, but with many songs nowadays you can sort of guess in what direction it goes. But like with this album, I was a bit surprised that you can really see where it was going.
Yeah, I found it also very surprising. That's what I was going to say. I found it surprising and oddly very, like, I really enjoyed this album.
I think it gives me like the kind of warmth you feel when you find somebody you love, I'd say. That's kind of the feeling it gives, I'd say. Yeah. It's like sunshine, you know?
I like the sunshine.
So a massive thank you to the students for giving up their time and for taking this seriously. I really appreciate it. And to the school for kindly allowing us to use their music room. I'll be coming back to the same group of students over the next few months as we move through more of the Beatles albums and see how their reactions change as the music evolves. So if you're curious to see where this goes, why not give us a like and a sub and come along for the ride? I'll be back next weekend with something completely different. But that's all for this one, so I'll say bye for now and thanks for watching.